This went on for a while. And then I moved back home and we were moving into our new house and I cleaned out all the cabinets and I just ate. My husband wasn't there and I literally just ate out of the cabinet.
Yeah.
And I went and obviously purged and I sat down outside the door and I was like, that will be the last time I do that.
Wow.
And it was.
Welcome to the Unbroken podcast with Chris Crosby. I got someone awesome here with us today. It's Ashley Humphries. Say hi.
Hello.
And I had the opportunity of meeting Ashley. It was when we were practicing for Tanger Throwdown. You were coming in with our gyms, like some of those training classes.
Yes, the competitors training
with Macy, which we had on a little while ago.
And I saw you at many competitions.
Yeah, you saw it.
Killing it.
Yeah, I was just destroying those hanging from bar thing. and I'm the kind of person, anyone new to the gym, I'm like, Joe always calls me the mayor of CrossFit because I'm like, hello, welcome. Are you new? And you guys, well, actually, we do CrossFit and we do this. And so we hit it out and we became friends on Facebook after that.
Good old Facebook.
Good old Facebook.
It's official when you're friends on Facebook.
You have to be Facebook official. Yes. And then I think it was September. Like, so we always would like each other's pictures and you would comment here and there on stuff. But I think on September of this year, I wax deep every now and then. Is that even a saying?
You what?
I don't know. What is that saying anyway, I got in one of those moods, right? I posted on Facebook a lot about my binge eating, disease on there. And not 20, 30 minutes later, I get this message from Ashley. It's like, thank you for sharing your story. And she kind of shared hers, and we're going to jump into that. And through our conversation, this podcast was still just a goal, something that I thought this would be fun to do, but I don't know if I'll ever do it. But I just threw it out there. I was like, hey, if I do this podcast, would you love to be on there? And she's like, of course, yes, we need to talk about this with people.
It's important.
And now here we are.
We're here.
I did it.
We're going to talk about it.
And we're going to talk about it. It was
funny. We're a little nervous.
So
we're very excited.
Yeah. I'm always nervous when I do these things.
It's all good. Me too.
You've done more? I'm just kidding.
Lots.
All of them. So I sent her a message and I was just like, hey, I'm actually doing this podcast. Would you like to come on? And she's like, I've never done a podcast before. What do I do? And you're like, we just talk.
I even delayed it a little. I was like, hold on,
please.
I've got to wax my eyebrows.
Wax. Yeah, we talked about wax my eyebrows. So here we are, and can you just kind of tell people about you? Because kind of a little bit about your background and where you work. Because we met doing CrossFit, so where you CrossFit, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, where do I start? I've never been athletic. And my whole life, I didn't want to sweat in high school. I actually had a coach message me on Facebook, like commenting about how I'm totally different because I work out and how weird. And I just, we moved to Moberly, Missouri. I was bored because if anybody knows where Moberly is, there's nothing.
No
30 minutes above Columbia, nothing. There's a jail. It's pretty big. So I decided to work out. I kind of gained a lot of weight in college because,
freshman.
Yeah, it's more like freshman 30.
Okay.
So and I just decided to work out a little bit, and then I started running, and I found I was good at it.
Cool.
So I started just doing races.
So were you one of those like obnoxiously like good at it, just like you just decided to run, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, look at me crushing 5Ks or anything like that?
At first I sucked. Can you say that word?
Yeah.
Okay. I was horrible. I ran 5 minutes, walked 5 minutes, ran 5 minutes, and then my endurance built up.
Okay.
And then I realized how fast I was because I just taught myself, and then I started doing races. And
then what's your furthest race that you've done?
Half. I'll only do half because I feel like my toes are going to break. So there's really no point. I never have thought I'm going to go back and do that again.
I did a full marathon.
Stupid.
Yeah. I did one 2.5 years ago.
That's awesome.
When I lost weight the first time. So this is my second go around on losing weight. But I broke a metatarsal in one of my left foot. So like that big bone that like...
Yeah. Not worth it.
It hurt a lot. And I finished, like I broke it on the race. That's so insane. I finished the last like 11 miles just crying. Like the first 14 miles were crying because I was doing it. It was just like you would run by people and they're like, good job, Chris. And then I just start bawling my eyes out. And then the last half, I was just like, every step was terrible.
I would not have finished.
It was bad.
I'd been like, I broke something. I'm done.
I didn't know I broke. I just thought I was just a big wussy. So,
yeah, that's true.
But I am.
I
normally.
would. Yeah, me too.
So you started running and you started doing a bunch of races and realized you were just crushing races left and right.
Doing good at that. And then had my son. And CrossFit started getting popular when I had my son about 3 years ago. Well, that's when I heard about it.
Yeah.
And I always want to start it, but I'm weak. Okay. Very weak.
And you always hear people like, those people are hardcore. They're throwing barbells around.
Yeah. And, it wasn't that popular, so you never saw it on TV. Didn't know what it was about.
Yeah.
So then we started it. And about in January of, 3 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And loved it ever since. I don't run that much. Now I hate running.
So if a 400's program in the WOD, you're just like...
800s are stupid. Yeah. We don't do those.
Do you guys have a lot of hills over at 417?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Well, it depends on what route.
Okay.
So I usually choose the flat route.
Flat route. That's awesome.
Definitely.
So you work out you've been over at 417 for 3 years?
About 3 years, a little over 3.
Okay.
Yep. And it's great.
Okay. So on Facebook, you say you're a professional stay-at-home mom. So you're a stay-at-home mom right now.
I'm starting to come out into my own little world here because being a mom is great.
Yeah.
But you also have to have your own life.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
So put my son's preschool 4 days a week, and I'm going to school. I'm trying to be a physical therapist.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So yeah, I just wanted something that I couldn't really be a trainer, and so I wanted something in the field that I loved.
Right, helping people.
Exactly. I actually, after talking about all this, I would love to work with people who have eating disorders, but I'll be in school forever, and I kind of got to finish it up. But
now, what kind of schooling do you have to get to help? Is that a psychology degree then?
Psychology, which I love psychology, so that would have been easy. And then you have to have your dietetics.
Okay.
So that's, 8 years there, and I'm needing to finish in now.
Yeah, you don't
my
wanna,
husband says. So, yeah.
You don't want to be on the 12-year program.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm pretty much on that.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other day.
So are you going to be an actual physical therapist or like a PTA?
A PTA.
Okay.
Yeah. And then maybe go on back to
who knows,
physical therapy. Just kind of depends on.
Well, sometimes those programs will help you move down the road a little bit. Well, that's cool. Are you doing the OTC one?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Save some money.
Yeah.
For sure.
I was going to try to do that. And then I was like, I already have a bachelor's degree. And then...
Might as well stop.
Might as well. Why get in more debt?
Exactly. No,
I'm not trying to talk you out of it. Live your dream.
Every time that bill comes every month, I'm like, why? Yeah. Why am I doing this? But, hey, gotta work someday.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you about, because at the very beginning, I talked a little bit about eating disorders. Like my disorder, my thing is I binge eat. Food is still something I still fight and I still succumb to. But binge eating, I could, if you let me loose on I would sneak off on Sunday and go to a Chinese buffet and I would destroy the buffet. And that's something that I still struggle with today. It could happen tomorrow. It happens a lot less often.
Right. Yeah.
But that's my disease, and that's something I'm still currently. I mean, with my weight loss, and I'm having a more healthy relationship with food. But I want to hear about your story. because I think there's a lot of people out there that have similar stories.
Oh yeah,
and
they don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it
They
because
think they're alone. I did. I felt I was alone.
Yeah, and some people. I mean, no one wants to feel like they have an issue with themselves because.
Well, most people don't think as food as an issue, and it can be. I mean, it can ruin your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's a control thing.
It's a very control thing.
But in the midst of it, you're out of control, but you think you're in control.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, food is one thing that you can control in your life, and that could be in a bad way or a good way. And so,
yeah,
that was my thing. I lived away, and that was one thing I could control what I put into my mouth.
Right.
So,
you started running, and you felt really good running. You started. You said you put some weight on. So did that weight start coming off?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so you started seeing your body change. You were leaning out. You were getting faster as you lost weight.
And I would lift some in there, and I would run and work out a lot. That's probably led me to this too. But
how much would you work out?
I would do a lot of 2-a-days. Okay. I'd run and then come back and lift.
Just like at a Globo gym or something like that, like
a YMCA.
Yeah. So you'd have like were you doing like a strength program, or were you just kind of doing
winging it?
Just winging it. You show up. I'm gonna do this machine today.
Exactly.
And abs.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
I do a lot of lifting, but nothing like we do now.
Yeah. So when did the food start?
Honestly, I don't even know. I was trying to think of that whenever I was trying to think of what I wanted to speak about. And it just happened. It wasn't like a day that I just went in there and just ate everything in the kitchen. That was my deal. I was anorexic and bulimic. Okay. I would binge eat, and then I'd feel guilty, and then I would go purge. So I would go days and eat less than 1,000 calories, and then I would go and eat everything, and all of a sudden I would just have to eat everything. It's probably my body telling me I was starving.
Yeah, you're but how much you're working out, I mean, compared to the calories that
I would eat like an apple for lunch and those lean cuisine meals for dinner.
Okay. The healthy choice ones.
Those so healthy ones. Yeah.
They're so good for you.
Oh yeah, so tasty.
So you got. Were you getting like a lot of positive feedback from people during these times? At first. Okay.
You know, when you start losing the weight and your body's starting to get back in shape, everybody notices that. And then nobody really wanted to speak about it, but you knew what they were thinking. Yeah. And you would try to hide it. Because I got down to 106 pounds. And if anybody knows me, I'm 130 now, and I'm still tiny. So if you can imagine 106
How tall are you?
Pounds. I'm about 5'7".
5'7", so 106.
It's very tiny.
My wife is 5'2", and she's 115 pounds.
See?
So I mean, like,
sick.
That's really small. When did you realize you had that you were in the midst of the disease? Because a lot of times when people are in it, they don't acknowledge it.
No,
and I don't have a problem. I'm controlling something.
Right. Yeah.
So when did you realize that? Did you ever have that rock bottom?
Yeah. I was cold all the time. I was freezing, and I started having stomach issues. Okay. If I probably went any longer, a year longer, I'd probably not, I don't want to say, be Debbie Downer and be not alive, but I'd have some major issues because my stomach was just horrible. Okay. And so I think that's when I realized there's something I should probably not be doing.
Did it with your esophagus and everything too?
My throat always burned. Yeah. But I didn't really think, nothing's really going on. I'm just, it's probably not what I should be doing, because I would purge definitely daily, sometimes twice a day.
Okay. And would you even purge not even after a binge then?
It's usually, it depends on, because some days I would be really good and I wouldn't have to. But it was, I definitely did probably once a day just to get out of my system. Yeah. And then on my bad days, I would, it's a sad thing.
So what was your rock bottom?
Actually, that's a good question, because this went on for a while. And then I moved back home, and we were moving into our new house, and I cleaned out all the cabinets, and I just ate. My husband wasn't there, and I literally just ate out of the cabinet.
Yeah.
And I went and obviously purged, and I sat down outside the door, and I was like, that will be the last time I do that.
Wow.
And it was.
That's
and
awesome.
I, like you said, it was an issue. It was always in my mind. I would eat, and I'd be like, don't go do it. Don't go do it.
Yeah.
And, it's mind over matter. I mean, it still is now. I eat a big meal, I'll be like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
But,
and you think about you could get rid of it.
Yeah. But
because for me, I can't throw up.
Right.
I've tried.
I became professional at it.
Like,
this just sounds so bad.
I know. No, you're.
Okay.
I mean, but that's part of what happened to you.
Yeah.
Because like I know sometimes when I would go and I'd binge, like I posted online. Was that the post where I posted like what I ate in a day?
Yes. Yes.
And I remember sometimes
crazy.
and 9,000 calories in a day.
Insane.
I mean, there was a reason I weighed 348 pounds. I mean, but I would want to throw up, and I'd go in the bathroom and I'd try to make myself throw up, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
But and my wife, let's talk about like how did your husband because with me, my wife knew I was getting bigger, and
it's hard to tell somebody, hey,
especially when you love it, and you just like you because you can't force anybody.
No.
My wife would see like, oh, he's gaining weight. But my reaction when I was confronted about it was go eat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like when I was happy, I ate. When I was sad, I ate. When I was depressed, I mean, every emotion was revolved around eating. I remember one time I was with a buddy and something happened really crappy. And the first thing I said to him was like, let's go get McDonald's. And he looked at me, he's like, how could you think about eating in a moment like this? And I didn't, that was the first time I realized that I was an emotional eater because I was just like, why don't you want to eat? Like, this
That's what I have to do right now.
I need a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Or a crispy chicken sandwich.
All right.
So how did your husband, like, what was his, have you talked to him about it?
Well, I didn't. I left everything because I was like, I don't have issues, and I got tiny, and he's always the kind of person you kind of keep your feelings to yourself. He would say things, but he would not.
He was concerned.
He was, and he knew something was going on, but he wouldn't say it.
Right.
One time we were in his truck, and he goes, well, my dad, his parents were in town, and he said his dad asked him, what's going on with Ashley? She's getting small, and she go to the bathroom a lot after we ate. And that's what people noticed is I would go to eat or to go to the restroom afterwards. And we weren't married because, so I'm very lucky stay because that is an issue. But it wasn't really brought up much.
Right.
It just, Ashley's getting really small.
Yeah.
And
you're just getting sick.
Very, yeah.
And
they knew it was all happening, but nobody wanted to confront it.
And the thing is, people know.
They do. They know there's an issue.
And it's one of those, it's such, it's hard to talk about. And I'm glad that's why we're talking about it, because a lot of times people really want to help. I talk a lot about when I reached out for help with my weight loss, I had people lining up to help me. And I'm sure once you realize that, now when you realized that you hit your rock bottom, did you start reaching out to people?
I did. At that point, I didn't care who knew, just as long as somebody helped me.
Right.
Because I just wanted to get better, and I didn't care who knew. I worked at a pharmacy, and the pharmacist there knew about it because I talked to him about it. We'd have lots of late nights working together.
Right.
And, I just was like, I don't even care. I went home and I just told my parents, because I go visit, and just say, hey, like, I just want help. Like, I don't care who knows. And I even told them if we could cook healthy meals when I'm there, so I won't feel like I have to go and eat everything and
then throw up later.
Yeah. So even now, I don't care who knows, just as long as I can help people.
Right.
And
have you had people because it sounds like you've been sharing your story for a while now.
Yeah, I actually, when I posted my before and afters, the ones where I was standing by because I was always freezing, so I was standing by the oven.
Okay.
And people messaged me and said, that's great that you're saying that, because there's a lot of people that won't mention it and that they need help, and people don't like we've talked about, people don't bring it up.
Yeah.
And so
Well, sometimes it's scary. I have a friend that's just really like open about stuff, and she'll go up and talk to people. I wish I could be more like that. Just be like, but it's one of those things like, what if they didn't have an issue? And I'm like,
right,
hey, do you need help? And I mean, like people worry about that, It's just like,
yeah.
And then sometimes people don't realize, like, how would you have reacted if like someone came up to you and they're like, Ashley,
Oh, yeah.
When you're
you get upset about it, too, because you're like, oh, I'm working my butt off.
Yeah.
Like, I look great. I thought I looked great, but obviously.
You're like, I'm running, I'm lifting weights, I shed the freshman whatever.
Yeah.
Look at me. And when you start telling people, did anyone go, oh, really? Or were people like, yeah, we know.
They agree.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, it's great. And, everybody knew something was going on, but they just agree.
So did you look into any programs, or is there anything out there that you just kind of like, you jumped on the family friend bandwagon and let them help you and
I was on the Ashley program.
Okay.
I literally just said, I'm not doing this again. And which it doesn't help for everybody. A lot of people, and I probably should have gone to somebody.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have the resources.
Right.
But I literally just had the willpower because I knew it wasn't healthy, and I knew if I kept going that I would have issues.
Yeah.
Actually, when I got pregnant, or actually when I was trying to get pregnant, they told me that I had to up my body fat. I could not get pregnant.
So were you missing like your periods and stuff when you're at your lowest?
And I just had nothing.
Yeah.
I was still actually at that point, because I quit about 6 years ago, but it took me a while to kind of get the weight up.
Okay.
And so I just, at that time, it was still kind of an issue just to gain weight because you're so small. But yeah, I mean, it's a slow process, but as long as you...
that's the same thing with my weight loss. You see people that just like shed a ton of weight really quick. And then the next time you see them, they gain it back.
They go right back,
yeah,
right.
So, I mean, it's a long healing
process. That's the correct way to do it.
Now, how much did it freak you out when you started eating more?
I gotta say, I don't know. I see the girls at our gym. Our gym consists of lots of strong shredded women.
Yeah.
And I know that they have to eat, and they eat a lot. And so it did... Because I would start at first, I was toned, and then when I started eating more, it kind of got a little bit more flabby. But then I didn't realize that, it's gonna get strong again.
Yeah.
It did mess with me.
Yeah.
My clothes didn't fit, and it did kind of. I was like, oh, I gotta back off, and
you didn't realize you were going through a bulking cycle.
Right? Yes, the bulking cycle.
Yeah, that's what I always
cycle.
thought. Like
I'm bulking.
When I started putting weight on, I was like, I'm bulking, guys. I'm always in a constant state of bulking.
Right. You need that shirt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they do.
I'm bulking,
that's awesome. No, I just, it just was a stage you had to go through but yeah, it did mess with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would mess with anybody.
When you, so like how we met was CrossFit, and you started CrossFit 3 years ago.
I did.
What did you think when you walked into that gym with just a bunch of,
I thought, man, I'm so fit. Like, I can do all this. And then they whipped up these huge pounds and these huge weights. And I was like, oh, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Kind of threw me off. But
were you still running all the time before that?
Yes. And then I wanted to kind of lift heavier weight. So I kind of backed off. And then I gained more weight. And it kind of got a little harder to run. But I still love endurance classes. Those are my favorite.
Okay.
So, I'm still kind of in the endurance-y person, but
now was your husband all gung-ho about, doing CrossFit?
Oh yeah. We were both kind of wanting to try it out, and we were kind of tired of the Globo stuff. Although now I've been kind of going back doing a lot of Globo, and CrossFit. So.
Now, was your husband very athletic before?
He was in the Army.
Okay.
So yeah, he was a Ranger.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this is right up. I'm sure he then heard of it. I know a lot of people in the military, they hear about it beforehand.
Yeah. He did a lot of running rucks, and that's why Murphy, he's so good at. Yeah. He just loves those kind of things. So yeah, he was always fit. He had his plateaus too, where he would gain weight, but yeah, after having our kid, he lived away from us. He worked away. So he gained a lot of weight. So we just kind of wanted to get back
into it.
And that'll definitely tone you up.
Yeah, it does. That was one thing that I noticed with me. Like, I didn't when I started CrossFit, I didn't really change the way I was eating.
Yeah.
I was
it's
more,
important.
I was still eating terrible, but I did lose some weight initially because I was so big. I mean, you can't help when you're that big, you can't help but lose some weight.
Yeah.
But then I kind of hit like
just moving.
Yeah, 310, 320 is where I lived at in a long time, and I think when you saw me last, I was probably still about 300 pounds. Maybe a little bit less at Tanger. Yeah. I probably
shrunk.
But I was seeing results and my body was changing because you're working out. Like things were toning up, but my weight wasn't changing at all. And I mean, I'd go get Chinese food at lunch. I was still kind of having days. My 9,000 calorie days were a lot fewer, but I was still like I would get up and have breakfast. And then I would eat my lunch before lunch, and then I would go get lunch, and then I would go, I mean, my binges were like the really like just I guess for me it wasn't eating a lot all at once. Right. It was throughout the whole day, but I guess a normal person that would have been their binge.
Right.
But that was just lunch after pre-lunch.
Oh no, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about like CrossFit, like your gym and stuff like that. Like, how did that start changing your thought, like how you viewed yourself when you're starting to eat? Because you said before we started recording that you ate 2,600 calories.
Yeah, I counted one. That's not my protein shakes I would drink. Sometimes I would drink 2, depending on how many workouts I did. So, that's good 3,000 calories.
Yeah.
At first, like I said, it was a lot. It kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
And then when I started shrinking, because the zone diet which is what I'm doing, takes a lot of fat away. So that, helped out a lot because then you do start seeing results.
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of gets the high, is where like, oh, I'm seeing things, let's keep going.
Yeah.
So obviously, eating the right things and right amount.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just was.
For people that don't know zone, can you explain zone a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. So each meal, you eat certain amount of carbs, proteins, and fats.
Okay.
It's 30, 30, 40, I think. So you're 40 in your carbs.
Okay.
Which is good for me because I'm tiny anyways. I'm just got really small bones. Like I'm just tiny. So I need carbs.
That's fuel.
Correct. So so you have to put, there's something you can print off the computer, which is very helpful.
Yeah.
And you just make your meals from that. And it's a really good, awesome diet, especially if you want to not really lose weight, but maintain
and performance kind of.
Right. In the last year, I've gained 10 pounds. So that's when I've done it. Yeah. And in healthy weight. It's not been.
That's also just like for muscle and probably just like your body just accepting what like it craves.
When I have cheat days, I feel sick. Like the next day it's like I'm hungover. But it's horrible, but I'm so ready for cheat day when it comes. I'm like, I don't even care.
Do you do one cheat day a week?
Yeah. I was doing a cheat meal on Wednesday and then a cheat meal on Sunday or Saturday. But then it just ended up being cheat day. So like just forget it and just suffer throughout the week.
Just like it's funny when you have that planned cheat day, and you're just like
so ready for it.
You're just like
It's like Christmas.
Do you have like your go-to? What's your go-to cheat?
Well, I like cereal. Yeah. Any kind of cereal, I'm good, and I like Mexican. Anything Mexican is great.
Like the bad thing about Mexican places, ice cream's so good.
Oh my gosh.
They put those chips in front of me.
Yeah.
I just start
chips and dip.
Yeah, like I judge a Mexican restaurant based on how good their chips and dip is.
Or queso.
Yes. Like, have you ever eaten at El Puente?
Oh yeah, that's the only place to go to.
Yeah, the queso dip on.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Republic.
Like Jen gets the enchilada with the queso on it.
So good.
And it's awesome.
It's ridiculous.
My go-to cheat meal is I really like ramen noodles.
That's weird.
I know, right? And I'll mix I'll crave it. I'll mix beef and oriental And
Lovely.
then I'll make them together, because this was one of my binge things that I used to eat. So maybe I shouldn't be having it on my, but I'd mix a beef and Oriental, and then I'd crack an egg in with it and poach the egg in there. Mm-hmm. And that's one of my awesome.
That is so funny.
And I mean pizza, of course.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can't go Jordan style pizza. I can't. I mean, I can
all the time.
I can, but and donuts. I really love donuts.
I do too. Anything.
Like anything.
I'll just eat anything, really. My husband asked me last, he's like, but it's your cheat day. What do you want? I'm like, I don't care. As long as it's not chicken and eggs, let's go.
Or broccoli.
I can't do broccoli anymore. Forget it.
Sweet
potatoes, yum.
Yeah, sweet potato. I do sweet potato fries, so I put a little bit of the olive oil on it.
Yes.
That's my jam. I guess that with the zone, that's your fat, right?
Yeah.
So,
olive oil.
Olive oil. I do.
Yum.
My day consists of it's very structured, because I find if I structure my food, and I guess that's another control thing, but if I structure my day around a certain menu, that I pretty much eat the same thing every week.
Yeah.
And that's why
that helps.
I think the weekends, why that's so hard for me, because if you look at my weight loss numbers, throughout the week I'm losing, and the weekend I always spike. Cause
I think that's normal though.
You don't have the structure of the work day and stuff like that.
Right. I think it's totally normal.
It's so hard on the weekends, because you're social, you're going out with friends.
Yeah, and you can't say, hey, I got my chicken here.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to
eat.
you have a pack a cooler to. I mean, why you don't?
It's kind of lame too.
Show up to a party and you're like, hey guys, it's 6. I got to eat my protein. I mean, there's people that are out there that do that, and props to them. I mean,
yeah,
that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're competing in a bodybuilder thing or anything like that.
Definitely not.
So what's your future fitness goals? I mean,
yeah.
What are you working towards?
I really wanted to be awesome in CrossFit.
Yeah.
And I realized I wasn't going to be.
What?
Yeah. Realization.
I mean, were you wanting to be regional athlete?
No,
or something,
I just wanted to win in competitions. Show
up and be like.
But I realized I'm just gonna be an awesome scaled person.
Yeah.
And just go at it from there. I just want to be healthy.
Right.
And work out and look like I actually work out.
Yeah.
So that's all that really matters.
So you have a healthy approach to it. I mean, do you still doing competitions and stuff like that?
I do. The only problem is I'll kill the workout and then here comes maxing and I'm down below.
That's with me with body weight movements.
See? Oh no, man. Body weight.
We did the WOD project, me and my partner Nate, after the first 2 workouts were right up our alley.
Yeah.
We were in second place, living large. We just thought we were, and then the next workout was all body weight. And I did.
Go figure.
I basically we had to do max either pull-ups, chest to bar, muscle-ups, or handstand walks.
Oh.
And me and my partner, we could both just do pull-ups. And
Yeah.
your pull-up was only 1 point, and when a handstand walk was 12 points, and
I can't.
And a
handstand
muscle-up was 9 points. And there's people butterflying the muscle-ups. I don't know how they did, but they were just.
How do you butterfly a muscle up?
I don't know. I don't know. I watched a video on it once, so maybe I'm making that up.
No.
But they were crushing it, and I was just I got no reps so many times. So I had my beard then. The lady was like, "My beard doesn't have to clear the bar, lady. It's just my chin." But she didn't know when my chin started.
Yeah. Then you shaved it. You're like, never happening again.
Never again. And then I got this weight loss turkey neck thing going.
Oh, whatever.
It's fun. It's a good problem to have. But then I did a cartwheel over the box, basically. I was doing box jumps, and it was a 24-inch box jump, which for me is just holy cow. But I was just I'm in competition. I'm going to go for it. And I actually, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I got MRSA in my leg from a box jump. And just a nasty staph infection. Put me out for 5 weeks. And so I have a post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't want to take but they scare me a lot to do box jumps, but I was like, okay, I'm at this competition, I'm gonna do these 24-inch box jumps. So it was a box over, so I'm going, and I guess I jumped too quickly and I hit my side.
Well, you're probably already nervous about it.
Yeah, my heart was just racing, and I literally did this cartwheel over the box, my shin hit, and I'm in case you can't notice, I'm reenacting the cartwheel when I'm talking, but
I got a good view.
People were just like, that was the most graceful box fail I've ever seen.
That's all that matters. I had a bad box encounter too.
Yeah.
But 3 months ago.
Uh-oh.
Or yeah, 2 months ago. I stepped off the box and sprained my ankle really bad. Yeah, stepping off a box. I always jump off of it, and I was like, it's a long one. I better step it off. Everybody else is. And I literally stepped off, and my ankle just. I was really loud and a lot, and I was like, and it just sprained. And people made fun of me for quite a long time.
It's funny because like when you sprain because I've sprained my ankle too,
horrible.
and you think you stepped on a huge rock or something. You're just like you're looking
out.
around. You're like, what did I just step on? And you're just like, nope. I did
horrible.
it doing you remember those HOA those walls that they had to climb, and some of the gyms still had them. Like I dropped in over at a gym. And I was like, and they were doing it, and I still weighed 320 pounds at this point. And he's just like, they put a 30-inch box up there and then like had me jump and like pull myself up and then just hoist myself, my 320 pound self over.
Wasn't happening.
And I came down way too fast, of course, on the other side. And I thought I was just going to be able to hang. Well, I couldn't hang. And I fell and landed. I thought I landed on the coach, but apparently I just rolled my ankle. And I'm like, this is like no one knew me in there but the coach. Like he was my learn to coach when I was over there. And so I'm laying on the ground crying my eyes out. No one knows who I am, but he did. So they like basically like limped me over to this bench. I put my leg up and I'm just bawling my eyes out. And like I was about to go watch a movie with my dad and my brother. And I was like, how am I going to get there? I was like, I just started getting good at CrossFit. It was just, I thought my world was... And then I went and deadlift on Monday on it. So, I mean...
Oh, you did? I was out for like 2 months, but I went back too early. I tore all the ligaments.
Oh, okay.
So.
I didn't do that bad. I just...
Baby.
So,
I don't know.
You're back at it.
Yeah.
Is that how you started doing the Globo Gym stuff? Getting in there?
Yeah, and my body reacts towards it. Last year, I had a little bit more time in school, and so I would do endurance one day and lift one day, and I could tell a major difference in my body. So, and that's when I really started the zone diet.
So you're focused on... I think it's important to have like a balance. With... because some people just, I mean, like there are ways that CrossFit can be programmed that, I mean, that's all you can do. But I know at our gym, we have endurance classes, which they do rowing and they do running, and people do that. And then we also have like a barbell class that focuses on like the Olympic weightlifting movements, and we do strength cycles. And
if I think about it and I work out too much, then I start getting into my old habits of...
So it's a trigger.
Yes. And it definitely, I'll start writing everything down. That's what, I don't know if I mentioned before, is I would write everything down, and it'd be little sheets everywhere, and I write down even last year, I would start writing down which day I was going to work out and what I was going to work out. And so it was a trigger. So I was kind of like, okay, I just got to do it to have fun.
Yeah.
Because some people, they can go in there and work their tails off and work out 6 times a day. And I can't do it, because then it just starts getting evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the people at your gym and you're just friends, because we talked a lot about, like, one of the great things about CrossFit is that community, that family.
Yes.
And so when did you start telling your CrossFit community about your...
When I posted that picture that I was talking about earlier, people would come up to me and be like, I had no clue that you went through that. Yeah. And so that's when some people would know about it just here and there. Which is probably not good, but it's kind of my coping mechanism. I joke about it. Yeah. I'd be like, well, I was, I used to be anorexic, so, I couldn't do this. That's why I'm skinny, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, I think some people might not get that, but like for me, that's how I cope with it. Like, yeah, I'm a fat guy. I make I make it okay to talk about it by making fun of myself.
Well, see, that's the thing is, I think you're like me, who you don't care who. Yeah. I mean, it happened. Yeah. I mean, that's part of your life. That's who you are. So who cares if you want to laugh about it? Then that's great, because then people can bring it up and be like, oh, well, hey, I have this going on. Like, what can I do about that? But yeah, a lot of people came up to me, and I mean, I went to the pool, because I go Fremont pool, and they would be like, I just did not know, and how big transformation and all like that. And so it made me feel good. Yeah. And I mean, it was a good, I'm glad that I posted. It took me a long time to think, well, should I post these pictures? Are people just gonna be like, oh, she just wants sympathy? And how big a reaction I got off it was amazing.
Yeah.
It just made me feel really good.
One thing I posted a blog the other day, and I was just like, people line up. They want to help.
Oh, yeah.
Or they want to share their story.
People like to talk about themselves too. Yeah.
And it's therapy.
Right.
And I've learned that the best thing is just to be a listening ear.
Yeah.
And I know that I've had people message me on Facebook. They're just like, "Hey, you're looking great right now." And part of my disease is
you probably still see the fat guy.
Oh, I see a huge person. Like my wife will tell you that she's just like, "Chris, you look great. You look fine." And I'm like, "But what about this? And what about that?"
When you probably have the skin.
Yeah,
and
I do.
So, but you do look great. Like
so, I'm the fittest.
That.
I just did a workout that had I'm supposed to do over 100 pull-ups, and I ended up scaling probably the last 30 of them. But I mean.
Who cares?
I did 80
that.
pull-ups in a workout with a bunch of shoulder overhead. I mean, like, you would have... I remember walking into CrossFit and seeing those ropes and seeing those rings and seeing
intimidating.
Those... Yeah, it's just like... And I enjoy now when new people come in and they see someone doing a rope climb and they're just like, I will never do that.
Right.
And I'll look at them and I'm like, I've been doing CrossFit 2.5 years and I haven't done one yet.
Right.
I can get halfway up the rope.
That's all that matters.
And someday I will get to the top. But that's the thing is like we have a dream goal of things that we want to achieve. And one of them was do pull-ups in a workout. And I checked that off. Yep. And I had lose 65 pounds. I check it off. But that's like, I think a lot of people, they don't appreciate the journey, the fitness journey. And like, I think a lot of us want to see like that 5-minute montage. I'm sure like, and see the end result
now.
Yeah. And so when you had that rock bottom, you're sitting on your floor, just like, I will never do that again. I'm sure you wish, like, when there was days that you were thinking about binging and thinking about purging, but then I'm sure you still had the anorexic side too that you were battling too, because that one isn't. I mean, like that one's.
I had it all.
Yeah, that one, like the binging and purging. I mean, like, you're throwing up, but like the anorexia, I know a lot of people. I'm just not eating, and so I mean, I am eating, but I'm eating.
Right.
So leave me alone. I'm eating. But you wanted to get to that. You wanted to be at that point where you felt healthy.
Yeah.
And but I think a lot of the process is enjoying that process.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little different with that side of like weight loss, and then I don't know. Am I wrong? Am I way out in left field?
You're good. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it is. And the thing too, I didn't really see myself as, tiny, or that I didn't even need to lose weight. I just thought that if I gained weight, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Or like, I thought since I'm working out, I don't need to eat a lot.
Yeah.
It's a total opposite.
Oh yeah, food is fuel.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I interviewed Dylan yesterday.
Yeah.
His podcast is coming up in a few days, but he was telling me that when he was at 10% body fat, he felt like he couldn't take his shirt off.
Oh wow.
And I mean, like, but that was because I mean, back in the day when he was a bodybuilder, I mean, he would be shredded, and that's when But you work 11 months to get to that point.
Yeah. It's true.
And it's impossible to healthily. I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to maintain that level of fitness. And so when he wasn't
when I got go ahead. When I got hurt, I was down. I was like, I'm just gonna eat everything inside, and in 2 months it's gone.
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of start from the start.
Yeah.
Start from the beginning. But anyway, go ahead.
Did you feel like you're when you looked at yourself after those 2 months, were you like, did you feel that like?
Oh, I felt horrible.
Yeah.
I usually have a pretty good confidence. I've built it. Even when I was, having all those issues, I still had good confidence. I guess if you can even say that. But being all those issues, having confidence. But I went to, and I never have issues like my husband thinking somebody else is good looking. Went to a wedding, and I was feeling horrible about myself anyways. And I'm like, all these pretty girls. My husband probably like thinks they're hot. Blah, blah. I'm like, okay, that's an issue.
Yeah.
I've never had that issue before. Let's get back on the bandwagon.
Yeah,
so
it's funny how like all of a sudden you have those kind of like, wait, what, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like this. I shouldn't be thinking like this. Like start getting the food right. And it's funny once you get your food right, because I was still kind of working out and it all kind of goes together. But
well, it's like you say, it's like 80% diet, 20% fitness.
Oh, it's so true.
I mean, I was embarrassed because I had been working out for so long, and I felt like I still feel like I'm really big. You know, like if someone walks up and just said like, if they hadn't known where I came from, they'd be like, oh, this big guy Chris.
Right.
I mean, that's what I tell myself.
No, yeah.
But I was embarrassed because people would see me in the gym for so long, and they're like, why is he not losing weight? Mm-hmm. Why is it? And it's because I was
going to eat.
I was eating Chinese food is my favorite.
That is good. Tasia.
I eat at Pacific Kitchen, which is right next to my work.
Perfect.
It's $5.
Yeah.
Cashew chicken, sweet and sour chicken, extra egg roll.
Extra. You've done this before.
A couple of times. Let's not look at my my checking account because there might be Pacific Kitchen. Yeah, I think that's like, I don't know if the weight gain or the me spending money. I don't know which one made my wife more mad.
True. Hey, that's pretty good though.
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
That's true love right there.
That is true love. Putting up with my mess and my obnoxiousness.
That's all right. You got it under control.
So, with what are things that you catch yourself, like you said, we talk about triggers.
Mm-hmm.
What
nowadays I don't really have anything that's kind of on my cheat days, and before I would just eat uncontrollably, and for some reason I don't really have. It's like before I never got full. And now I hit it. Like I hit that. Okay, I'm done. Full. And that's amazing for me because I never felt that before when I was sick. So now I know when to stop. Before I'd eat, like sweets are my thing. Yeah. I love it. Andy's. I could get large pumpkin pie concrete when I leave here. That'd be fabulous. Yeah. And I'll eat it all. Yeah. And I'll go to bed and feeling horrible about myself, but now I don't really have those. I really want to go get sick. I'll just be like, why did I do that? Yeah. And so tomorrow's workout's going to suck.
It hardly, that does go through my mind. But you don't have that, like, I can get rid of this.
Yeah, I'm past that now, which awesome. It wasn't like an overnight thing. It literally, I mean, I'm saying this was 6 years ago that was my last day that I did it. And so it was a long process. And so it just was something that I finally had to get to. Mm-hmm. And I honestly think CrossFit, don't want to sound stupid, but CrossFit really saved my health. Yeah. Because it, like I said, you just can't be tiny. And I work with some amazing, fabulous, like fit women. Yeah. And so I know, like,
you guys your gym had a team that went to the CrossFit Games this year, and they did really well. They got 11th. Yeah. Which is awesome. And I mean, I think if they would have been in that top 10, they would have.
They need endurance.
Yeah, endurance.
I'll train them. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. Kidding, Jared.
Jared, I'm not gonna. I mean, if you want me to, Jared, like
look up my number.
You know where I am. How would you be okay? I mean, like we'll post some of your social media stuff on here. Yeah. Would you be all right? It sounds like you'd be all right. People reaching out to you.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
And just kind of, if someone came to you with their disease, their issues, what would be your advice that you gave them? Like, what would?
You just have to be strong. Like, I mean, I probably sugar-coated a little bit. It is horrible. It is a horrible disease, and it does affect a lot more than people. I mean, you would walk on the street and there's variations of it. Like you could just be like, I watch too much of what I eat, or it could be like where I was, where you're doing 3 of the major eating disorders. Right. And, I took a lot of psychology classes because, like I said, I wanted to be working with girls or people who have eating disorders. And that's huge. There's a lot of triggers or, what do you say? Symptoms or whatever, like the writing down. I mean, I had it all. And so it was a deep, problem that I had.
And that's amazing that you were just like, no more.
Yeah. Well, I just knew I'm a strong-willed person. Mm-hmm. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Even if I get, if it was a bad outcome, I still say I'm going to do it. Through. Just going to do it. And so I didn't even think, actually the day that I said I was not going to do it anymore, I thought there's still going to be days. Yeah. And I just didn't, because it was just a willpower and just saying, yeah, you ate all that, but you did it, and now you just got to suffer.
And
so
you just suffer through it.
Yeah, and then the process, it's like you said, some days you have those days and some days you don't.
Yeah.
I still have, where I want to eat everything. Like last night wasn't my cheat day, but I wanted cereal, and I was going to have cereal.
So you had some cereal.
So I had some cereal. I felt guilty about it, but,
you had
whatever.
Did you binge on it, or you just had a bowl?
Just had a bowl.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and that's what healthy people do. That's like, right?
I love how you're hanging it down.
Yeah, because I mean, but
no, I know.
I can't go to a buffet and just get one. It blows my mind when people go somewhere and leave food on their plate.
Yeah, well, I don't leave food on my plate.
But I mean.
Yeah, totally get it.
I see how people like. We have a food day at work. Mm-hmm. I see people are just like, I don't want any of it, and they walk away. And I'm just like, how do you not eat that? Like one of the guys I work with,
I'm just starving like, people here.
Yeah, I mean, like, how are you not eating these donuts?
Right.
And I'll sit in my office literally all day.
Was this now or before?
I mean, still, yeah. Still, I mean, but that's because I'm still in the
well, no, I still have. Yeah, no, it'll always. It's like an alcoholic will always be an alcoholic.
Yeah, I will. And some days it's just like whatever. There's donuts out there, but there's some like we had this intern that every Thursday he brought donuts in for everybody.
That's
and
so
I'm
rude.
Like, why are you? I mean, like there was 3 of us that were trying to lose weight, and I was like, why are you doing this? Like I even told him like nicely. I was just like, hey, there's people. Please don't bring donuts in. Yeah. And then he brought him in again, and I like went and put him on his desk, and I was like, look, buddy, because I would sit in my office, and my productivity went way down because I'm just like
thinking about the donuts.
I could eat a donut. No one will know. I can eat a donut.
Well, and then you're like, what's one little donut gonna do?
And then you eat the one donut.
Yeah.
And then it turns into 2 donuts.
Yeah.
And then it turns into half the dozen, and you're just like covered in frosting, and you're in the corner crying.
Why?
I mean, what just happened? I just blacked
out. This is so wrong.
Yeah.
No, I totally get it. It's just, I don't know. And you, like you said, you're kind of in your beginning of your stage of it.
Yeah.
But I do. I mean, it'll just happen.
So I asked social media. Well, I mean, while I'm looking at social media, seeing if anyone had any questions for you. What other?
My phone says Macy Mitchell posted in CrossFit Republic.
Good old Mace.
Thanks, Macy.
What other questions or like advice would you give anyone trying to? Because I mean, like I think your story is amazing. Because a lot of people they don't. That one time isn't, they don't sit down, have that rock bottom, and then they're, able to stop.
Yeah.
What would you give advice if someone said, well, I've had, because some people have several rock bottoms. I know I have with my weight loss, my weight gain.
I did too in my whole issue.
When people come to you like, well, I keep messing up and I keep, like, what would you say to them?
Yeah. Well, let's see here. I mean, I'm trying to think. I know there's probably an analogy that I could use here somewhere. You just have to keep on going. I mean, I know that sounds very cliche, but it's kind of like, you're going to start your diet on Monday. Well, Monday comes around. Well, there's always next Monday. You just have to, you don't look for your Mondays. Yeah. You just say, okay, I screwed up. Let's start right now and just say from here on, you're going to be good. Yeah. And you're going to have another mess up. And just from there on, just say, hey, I got to be good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so, I mean, you can't just go into, when you have a disorder, you can't go into it and just be like, I got lucky by saying this is my last time. And I got lucky that was my last time. But I have also had times where I knew I should stop and I didn't. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
so you binged eat again after
I binged, but I just didn't purge.
Yeah.
I binged, and I also watched what I ate. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't
so there was
like
other aspects like you, that.
Totally, it wasn't like I was going. I'm like, oh, I'm healthy. Yeah. I'm good.
And I hope you didn't think I thought that. I was just wondering.
Oh no.
And I think like.
No, I just want everybody to know, like, it's not an easy road. I mean, like I said. An alcoholic's always an alcoholic. A binger's always a binge. It's always going to be there. It's just how you perceive it.
it's never. I always had like the analogy like you're climbing a mountain, and if you slip and fall, you don't fall to the bottom of the mountain.
Right. Oh, that's good.
You slip down a few feet, you might scrape your knee, you might have a few bruises, but you get back up and you keep climbing.
Yeah.
And it's always trying to get to that top, and then and I don't know if there's ever that. I don't know if that's discouraging, but I think there's I think life, we're just moving forward. And you said it was cheesy, but like, that's kind of like my podcast, like Unbroken. I mean, when I was thinking of a podcast theme, I was just like, oh, cool, I'm broken. I'm going to do that workout. I'm broken. But the more I thought about it, like, we live our life, like, we got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I thought I started hashtagging things. I am unbroken. And for me, that means that I'm going to keep moving forward, even though I do mess up. I do slip up. I do have my pitfalls. I do have my weaknesses.
Right.
And just that it's living unbroken. I don't know, it's cheesy, but
it's so true though.
And it's funny because now if I break things in my like workout, everyone's like, "You're unbroken." And I was just like, "Oh, come on, you're killing me."
It's gonna curse me for life, isn't it?
So,
that's awesome.
Now, if people want to follow you, how can they find you?
I'm actually I'll have to
I'll put some links.
Yeah, I'll put Ashley Humphries. Humphrries. We had a stalker in Ozark one time, so I had to like
lock everything down.
I was on lockdown. Or my Instagram, I have to look it up because I do post a lot on Instagram about my fitness and my life, my food.
Your food.
Because because a lot of people have been starting doing the zone diet since they've seen Jessica Griffith.
Yeah.
She does zone.
Okay.
And so Macy apparently does zone.
Yeah.
I do zone. I'm huge. And so I've been posting a lot of them because you get tired of the same things. And I've been kind of researching more foods. And so I post food on there too.
Okay. I mean, who does that on Instagram? You're like, that's the first person I've ever heard that post food.
Post food? Nobody. And you will get occasional picture or 5 of my child.
Hey,
so
I mean, you got it covered.
Definitely.
So I'll put the links in the notes on Instagram and maybe Facebook.
Yeah, totally.
But I mean,
cool.
I think people can still message you regardless. Yeah. So if people want to reach out and
no question is too small.
No questions.
Or too big.
Yeah.
So.
Except for that was too small and too big.
Yeah, I don't take any questions actually.
You have to go through my publicist. Is there anything that you want to bring up or cover before we wrap it up? I mean, is there? I know that sometimes this subject isn't an easy one to talk about, and I really appreciate you coming. And
I'm totally open to talk about it because it happens and it takes over, and I'm fine. So anything.
Okay, and this podcast is about fitness and health, and I'm really glad we're getting the whole spectrum of it. So it's not just about CrossFit Bro, it's about
CrossFit Bro.
All the gains and protein.
Total gains.
But
no. I think I covered it all. I'll probably think of everything when I leave though.
I mean, that's how every time I do a podcast, I'm like, oh, I didn't talk about this, I didn't talk about that.
Yeah. That's why I try to make notes, but then there's such a long period
I mean, there's so much to talk about, and I bet you don't realize that we're at 57 minutes.
Whoa.
Yeah, we've been talking
Sorry,
already.
guys.
No, yeah.
Probably like, really?
Fast
Do we
forward.
have to hear about your eating disorder again?
But, well, thank you so much for coming on. We'll post this up in no time. And
sounds good.
And I'm sure a lot of people will be helped by this. And,
I hope so.
And guys, thank you for listening to the Unbroken podcast. If you liked it, which I'm sure you did, go ahead and like and subscribe, because the more likes and subscribes I get, the more people see this. And go ahead and share it with all your friends. And hey, just remember, live unbroken. Thanks, Ashley.
Out.
Peace.